So look where I am. I'm at the Reptarium, so I'm gonna head inside. Should be fun.
I
know, right?
30% of my business is out there, so that's huge. Losing it, like if something gets delayed, I lose the whole order.
Yeah, you were out there for a bit, huh? Herping around.
Herping around. I fell down a mountain up on Wrightwood looking for San Diego Mountain Kings. I really hurt the top of my foot.
Now, but yeah, no, I think it's, I think it's doubtful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Not that I'm aware of. Okay, well, let's try to make sure.
Let me know when you're. Just give me a thumbs up. All right. Hey, Jeff Godbold here with Godbold Exotics. I think you guys might recognize this guy, Brian Barczyk. So we're here at the Reptarium, and what I wanted to do is just sit down with Brian and talk with him a little bit. You guys know Brian with how he does everything here at the Reptarium. You know what he's done, like with his traveling, and you know a lot of things about Brian on a reptile-related side of his life. But there's probably a lot of just basic stuff that I kind of wanted you guys to get to know Brian for, like who Brian is. Not just. We're going to throw some reptile-related questions in there, but I wanted to talk about a few other things. So Brian, real quick, what's your favorite movie?
Oh man, my go-to answer would be Jaws.
Okay, all right.
But there's so many. I am a huge movie buff. Like I don't watch TV. All I care about is movies. So there's some great movies. I love them, but for some reason Jaws was like that first movie when I was a kid that just like enthralled me. I can still, my wife Lori is standing over here would tell you that every time Jaws comes on TV, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it every single time. I love sharks, so it's kind of like the worst thing that could ever happen to shark conservation is Jaws.
Oh yeah, sure.
But there's something about that movie that that movie made me love sharks. Weirdly enough, and I've had a lifelong love of sharks ever since. So I'm going to stick with my go-to, Jaws.
Okay. My kids are terrified to get in the ocean, be on like their knees because of that movie. So
it's unfortunate, it really is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite colibri species?
Gosh, I always say whenever people talk about favorites, it's really difficult, right? Because I love so many things for so many different things.
Right.
I have an affinity towards corn snakes because it was the first snake I really ever bred. I love king snakes because of the diversity. I love milk snakes, but dry mark-on are the next level. I mean, they're the next level. And as much as it's hard for me and it almost pains me to say that it's not a corn snake or something like that because I've had so much experience with them, still dry mark-on are that's the colibri I love.
So that's the indigos, the cribos, really large, and they just are really intelligent.
That's, I think, the thing that's
working
amazing.
Things out,
When you handle them, they're like figuring it out, and they remind me more of like a king cobra than a colibri.
Right.
And I think that's what it entices me, that intelligence level. And I think that when you're talking about like target training reptiles, I think you could target train a dry mark-on or indigo or any of the dry mark-on quicker than you could a corn snake. Because they're so smart, they're so visual, and they're so dang big. I mean, they're amazing.
Awesome. Okay, moving on. Coke or Pepsi?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. Number one, I try not to drink soda at all. But when I do, I used to go, there's something wrong with me. My head's crazy. I used to go Pepsi for like 6 months and then Coke for 6 months. I mean, I'd literally switch it up. I know, I'd switch it. I'd be like, Pepsi, I'm done with Coke. I'm sick of it. Now I'm going to Pepsi. That being said, I really, it's probably been several years since I've consistently drank soda. I try not to drink soda at all.
6 years?
Yeah, probably about 6 years ago. That's not to say I haven't had it.
That would make my wife so happy.
Yeah, it's that's not to say I haven't had them in 6 years. It's just that I don't drink it like once in a blue moon type stuff.
Okay, I'm a Coke guy.
Coke, yeah, that's what I've heard about you.
Are we talking about the same Coke?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we're gonna go with another favorite lizard species.
Gosh, it's so hard. I love Taliqua, I love all the blue tongues, but man, there's no doubt that varanids, monitors are, again, I think it keeps going back to that intelligence thing.
Right.
You know, but then I got Bella, my rhino iguana. That's probably the animal I have the closest bond and relationship to. But still, there's something about Brandon's. I mean, Steve and Forrest and I had an amazing experience unboxing one of their baby croc monitors.
Right.
And that experience was one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life, because this
Sure.
animal came out of a bag. It was like freaked out. Within minutes, it had learned that it was chill, and it just would go from person to person, jump from one person to the next person, and then eat like immediately. I mean, this is right out of a bag. That lizard was next level. Now, I don't keep any croc monitors, and I certainly don't keep any Komodo dragons, although I've worked with Komodo dragons plenty of times in the past. There's something about a lizard that looks you in the eye and literally looks you in the eye.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and like tries to think about you. And,
Right.
and with our Asian water monitor, Elvis, and Toothless, our black dragon, it's crazy. They're not afraid of us. They're curious about me. I can set Elvis out on the ground and it'll crawl right to me. It's not going to crawl away from me.
Sure.
And so I definitely Brandon's any monitor lizard, and even today we worked with Abasuka, our night Nile monitor, and Nile monitors are known for being unbelievably cantankerous, and my guy Bruce has spent the last month or two really working with this animal that literally before you would open the cage it would jump out at you trying to bite you, and he can now pick it up and put it on the ground and target train it with a ball, and that's a level of intelligence and training that makes me love Brandon's beyond belief.
Awesome. Well, the thing that I like about them is like we're kind of talking about with the dry markers, they're just working stuff out. They're intelligent, and it's one of those things that when you really work hands-on with them, you really get to see that. And
People don't understand unless they've had a relationship with those types of animals. I mean, I always talk about, especially here at the Reptarium, we're trying to dispel what people think of reptiles. I mean, normal people.
Right.
And people come in and they see, Bella the rhino iguana come to her name. They see Elvis the monitor lizard walk right up to their feet and kind of look up at them, and they see all these things, and all of a sudden people go, wow, reptiles aren't supposed to do that. Why are they doing that? And the fact is that that's what a reptile is. The only, Kevin McCurley always said that, if you can get a reptile out into fear mode, that's when you really unlock what it's really about. So that's what we try to do, is make sure the animals never fear people.
yeah, it's changing that perception, because a lot of times, like for years, people just thought of reptiles as just being kind of like lower on the intelligence spectrum and not very smart, So anyway, awesome. So where's the coolest place you've ever traveled?
It's funny. I always tell people that I think travel is about it's about the experience of many different things, right? So I always say my favorite places to travel to are places I fall in love with the people, right?
Okay.
So you can go to amazing places that have great topography and amazing animal experiences, but in the end, it's the people that make it amazing. So that's why, I love Australia. I love South Africa. I fell in love with Italy just this year, and it had nothing to do with animals. It was just, again, the people, the culture, the experience, and I think. But I can't, again, much like I can't pick a favorite animal, I can't pick a favorite place. That being said, there's a place called Fog Dam up in Northern Territory, Darwin, and I've often said that that's where I want my dashes to go.
Okay.
So maybe that might be the place that I would say is the place that I want to spend eternity.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so next question I have is, what is your biggest, I know this is kind of hitting you like spur of the moment, but if whatever comes to your mind, what's your biggest regret? Could be reptile related or non-reptile related.
It's funny, I really tell people this all the time, I don't really live with many regrets. I think that every experience, bad, good, or otherwise, molded me to what I am today, right?
Sure.
There was I've been through a lot of great things, and I've been through a lot of really terrible things in my life, and I wouldn't want the terrible things to go away either. We talked earlier about anxiety, and it's something that I've struggled with my whole life, and 12 years ago I had a really unbelievably horrible bout of anxiety that basically was 6 months of incapacitating, couldn't leave the house, stuff like that, and yet I wouldn't want that to go away, because that made me who I am today,
Right.
and it gave me the compassion to people that suffer with depression and anxiety. So I mean, I've made more. I probably made more mistakes than most people ever have because I've done so many different things. But I don't look at them as things that I go back and change because I couldn't get to where I am today. And I'll give you an example of the Reptarium is one of the things I'm probably the most proud of,
Right.
of what we've done, and you know, at least on a business level. And it really came from an email that I got from somebody during kind of the really heavy hate period of my career, you know, a couple of years ago when it was really building up, people hating, and it got to me, and emotionally it was destroying me. And I did the kind of cyberbully video saying how much it had affected me. And I had one email that really predicated my movement to do what I did with the Reptarium. And I always wanted to do it, but that one email was the email that pushed me. And what she said was, Brian, number one, I don't hate you. I just think you should be a better person. And the thing that I have the biggest issue with is that you're doing everything the same as you did 20 years ago. You haven't evolved with the way you're keeping. And I thought to myself, she's right. And not only do I think she's right that maybe we hadn't changed over 20 years, but the industry really hadn't changed. Maybe our racks went from wood to plastic to steel, but really we still keep things the same way.
Right.
And that was really what pushed me to decide to go with the Reptarium and more naturalistic. And of course now we're kind of slowly moving that way even into our breeders. You know, we want in the next 3-4 years to have our whole collection to be in a very different setup than what we're doing even today. So it's not a regret, it's just an evolution.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that kind of leads into another question I had is, where do you see the Reptarium and BHP in the next 5 years?
You know, it's so hard. You know,
maybe we don't have time for that answer.
Yeah. No. I think we do. I mean, I think that the struggle that I have is that the experiences that us as a crew at the Reptarium have every weekend with people coming and you know, fearful of snakes and holding for a snake. Tonight, I don't know if you saw just a half hour ago, we had a tour earlier and the mom was terrified of snakes. They kept the ball python. She had never touched it. She touched a couple snakes during the tour, a couple snakes, but she wasn't ready. And then she held Casper just here a half an hour ago, a 9-foot reticulated python. That experience we get to have every day. And so part of me is like, I want to take that experience and have it in every major city across the country. But then I come back and say, does that lose what we have and the intimacy and the fact that we are here and it's part of us? And so that's the struggle. The struggle is, do I expand and take this experience to different places, or do I just make this the place and the only place? And I'll be honest with you, right now, this very moment, I'm leaning towards staying here. You know, we're going to expand.
Putting it all into this place.
Yeah, we're going to expand. We're doubling the zoo over the winter, size-wise, and I've thought about just maybe this is my home base and this is where I'm staying. And although I would love to have this available to everyone, maybe it would lose the magic that I feel it has.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I mean, what you've done with it is pretty amazing. You know, I mean, I'm not just saying that. I mean, just the amount of exposure, you know, and I didn't really want to get into this topic, but I will just put this out there. You know, if I hear someone that says something negative about you or about something like that, I kind of look at it like, okay, we're all human, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Not all of us are putting it on the camera for other people to, you know, and it's always easiest to point the other finger. But before you go out and you make that judgment, like, you might want to think about how many people that he may have brought into the hobby or the exposure he brought to reptiles and that perception, because, you know, it really wasn't anything after Steve Irwin went, you know, I mean, it's you took YouTube and you used it as a medium to really put out a message and to bring exposure to something that really was dead at that point, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. And you know, a couple things. I think number one, you know, they say, you know, it takes a village, right? So, I mean, our success is predicated on the people we have around us and the hard work that everyone has put into this. And then I think, you know, Brian Cusco put it pretty good at one point. He said, when you have the amount of content that we have out here, and this does not mean I've made many mistakes, as I've said over and over again. As a matter of fact, one of the weirdest things is when people say like, well, the old Snake Bites day you were about education and now you're about whatever. I think, have you ever watched Old Snake Bites? Because we did the crazy. If we did the stuff we did in Old Snake Bites today, we would be we'd break the internet. So I think we've evolved a lot. That doesn't mean that we still don't make mistakes.
Sure.
We've made a lot of mistakes, but if what Brian said, and I think it's true, is when you take just the sheer amount of content that we have, over 2,000 videos between my blog channel and Snake Bites TV, and you take the thousands of posts on Twitter, the thousands of, over 100,000 posts on Twitter actually, and the 30, 40,000 posts on Instagram, you can narrate that any way you want. You can make me look like the best guy in the world, and you can make me look like the worst guy in the world, depending on how you want to mold that content. Like for instance, if you take a picture of me if you take a screenshot of me cleaning a cage and say all my cages are dirty, everyone's going to think my cages are dirty, when in actuality we were cleaning the dirty cage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so you can take and mold things however you want. And that's, again, not to say that I didn't make mistakes, not to say I won't make mistakes in the future. But I think that we do the best we can do, and we're continuing to try to better ourselves and better the industry. And all I've ever wanted was to make people love these animals,
Yeah.
And that's
right.
it. That's that's the end of the game. But of course it sucks when you see people hate it. I mean, it sucks. But at the same time, Jeff, I think that very few people, maybe I can't think of anyone in the last 4 years that has visited my place that has said something bad about us. The people that come here never say anything bad, and I think that is all I need to say about it.
Right.
I mean,
Hey, you could end it there.
Yeah, that's basically it. If you come to visit, and my doors are always open.
Yeah.
Now there's no excuse. If you think I'm a bad guy, come here and check it out yourself, and you can make your own decision. And we've been to BHB, the same thing. I mean, you won't find a mite, you won't find sick snakes, you won't find dirty cages with no water,
Right.
and that's just the way it is. But listen, I'm going to end it with the fact that no one told me to do YouTube and put myself out there. I did it myself. And when you do it, you're opening things up for people that are going to try to attack you, and that's the way it goes. And
Yeah, right.
it's unfortunate, but I've really moved on. To be told, I know it may sound weird, but I don't care that much anymore about it. It
Right.
might sound weird, but I think I've gotten to a place in life where I know the truth and I know what we do, and I don't care what people think about
There
that.
you go.
I think that's just the truth.
Awesome. Well, I think that's probably the healthiest attitude to have.
It's the only way to live.
Right. I mean, you got to not sweat the small stuff,
Yeah.
and just do you. Like they
Yeah,
like to say.
I think that as doing YouTube and podcasts, it's very easy to have 100 positive comments and one negative, and we keep rolling through the negative.
Yeah.
But not the 100.
It like haunts you.
Yeah. So now I try to always just push that away. I really
Right.
do. I just go, whatever. I don't care. And I think that it's the only way when you do reach a certain level of exposure that you can not go crazy.
Right.
And I was on the verge of like going into a depression, and now I literally I don't want to say laugh, because there's a difference between constructive criticism and hate. I'll take the constructive criticism every day. The hate, they could go, I can care less what they say about it.
So I'm going to end it with one last question.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you taking Lori on your next vacation?
8 days from now, we're going to southern Italy.
Damn. Go big or go home, right?
That's
Awesome.
right, yeah.
I was trying to catch you off guard, but you were ready for that
We're
one.
ready. My camera guy now, Jay Tomsky, I'm starting to steal his thing. He said he's an experience collector. So
Yeah.
I'm collecting experiences now. So
Awesome.
so the next experience is southern Italy.
All right, dude. Well, hey, thanks for the time.
Thank you, man.
Brian Barczyk, the one and only. You've been watching Godbold Exotics. Make sure you guys subscribe. You know where to find him, but I'll put his link down there in the description just in case you guys don't. And thanks for
that
watching.
like button.
Yeah, smash that like button. Comment away. Awesome.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks, Jeff.
wrap it up.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Know that we spot clean every single day,
Yeah.
except for Saturday and Sunday. So this is a normal Mollendorf eye here, under flower rat, and then this is the hypo here. Oop. I'm sorry, my bad. food in the cage. Too, man.
Brian just opened up a box and we got some Boega babies
I'm
here.
having a little snake gasm right now.
Mangrove snakes.
So awesome.
Look at how this one's got such little pattern to it, you know what I mean? It's really beautiful.
That is so cool.
Look at that one, man. Jeez.
How many clutches of these did you get this year?
We did about 5 this year, 5 clutches. We just had one just,
Don't be a butthead.
I know, right? We had one just laid like 3-4 days ago.
They are so cool.
Oh, here, Forrest, I want to show you a couple things really quick. Never put the male back in. 4.5 months later, she laid a clutch of 7 good eggs.
So are they parthenogenic or is
No,
it
I think it's
retained?
retained sperm.
Wow.
Have you got any more skinks? Baby skinks? I've seen you on any
nothing
videos
new,
lately.
but we had a bunch. We had about 40 litters this year, so.
Out of how many bred?
57.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
What's up, folks? If you guys are watching this, it has been a very short trip. And just to give you guys a quick rundown, had a red eye Thursday night, arrived in Indianapolis. Forrest and his crew picked me up Friday morning. I went straight into filming all day Friday. Went back to Forrest's place Friday night, and dude, I was so out of it. Like, I was so tired. Actually, I'm battling a kidney stone, so I just dosed up a little bit and suffered through it. Braced the sucks. Not my first rodeo. I've had a ton of kidney stones. They're hereditary for me, so I just powered through it because you only get, I wanted to make the most out of the trip. And then, let's see, fell asleep on an air mattress, and there's a bunch of us at Forrest's place, and I just grabbed the closest thing I could put my head on and tried to get some sleep. Woke up this morning at like 6 o'clock. Anyway, I'm like running on fumes. Like, I have not slept. There was like a few nights where I was not sleeping at all leading up to my flight, which was a red eye. I didn't really sleep that much on the plane. Anyway, this weekend's been short, but it's been go. And today we went to Toledo Zoo, had an awesome time. A really, really cool experience. We got some kind of like personal treatment, some VIP treatment from a few contacts that Forrest has, and that was really fun, and I was absolutely blown away by how they keep their animals. I mean, the setups there, those guys really, really know what they're doing, and their animals don't realize how spoiled they are. Got to see a lot of species that were first times for me in person, so that was really, really cool. I got to interact with a lot of animals at Forrest's place, and the Reptarium and BHB that I had never seen in person and interacted with, seen in person, let alone interacted with. So that was a lot of fun. So like, I'm back here at my hotel, got some dinner tonight. Tonight will actually be the first night in probably like 5 or 6 nights where I've actually gotten a decent night's sleep. I got to be up at 5 a.m. to get on my flight. But the good news is tomorrow's Sunday. I can get in by noon and be able to get back, missing the wife, and we can, relax a little bit before the work week starts. But this was a really, really cool trip and a lot of fun, and definitely something that I'll remember for a really long time. And I foresee myself coming out here again. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to get to, but there just simply wasn't enough time. I mean, there are so many cool animals that Forrest has at his place that I didn't even take out. You know, you get in some of these people's places and it's almost like sensory overload, and you're like, oh, I want to talk about that, I want to talk about this, and you know, that's kind of how it was. So I tried to pick and choose some of the stuff that was a little more obscure, a little more my speed, and stuff that I was just personally interested in. But there was a few that I left out, so definitely need to make it back out here. And there are so many videos that I shot. I really hope you guys enjoy them. They're kind of like freestyle a little bit, kind of just, you know, going off the cuff, you know, nothing super rehearsed. Even my interview with Brian, you guys just saw that. Nothing rehearsed on that. It was just, I had some questions. Some of them were just spontaneous and random, and some of them were kind of some stuff that, you know, needed some thought, and I wanted to get good responses out of him, which he provided. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys. Please follow. You know, I don't do this for a living, but I really would like to grow the channel. I try to cater to the niche audience, the people that like the obscure stuff or the stuff that's not quite as common. But you know, obviously true boas are my forte, and that's where my passion's at. But there's a lot of other things that I really enjoy too. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys listening to the podcast Corrales Radio, as well as watching the YouTube channel Godbold Exotics, and just, you know, following me on social media is great, and it's humbling. So I really appreciate it. You guys take care. I'm gonna go to bed and get ready for this flight tomorrow, and I'll be at you guys here soon. Take care. Bye-bye.